Good morning, everybody. Good Erev Shabbat Shalom. This is Table for Two on the Nachum Segal Network. Our show is sponsored by Abel's and Hyman Meats. We taste better. Good morning, everybody. It's been a lovely, lovely week because some of the snow in front of my house has melted. Very exciting. So for those of you who don't know me, I am Naomi Nachman. I'm about all the food all the time. I love food. I love to shop for it, cook it, eat at restaurants, anything food related. I'm a kosher personal chef. My business is called the Aussie Gourmet. I cater for people Shabbat, for Yom Tov, for Pesach, which always gets its own mention because the countdown for that has begun too. Small parties, anytime you don't feel like cooking, I'm your gal. I hope you'll stick with me for this whole hour and hear about my cooking adventures, my kosher food traveling, sharing of great food ideas and recipes each week. But I also like to hear about your experiences too. If you ate at a great restaurant, you want me to check out an ingredient for you, check out a meal at a restaurant for you that you've tried and said, Naomi, you got to go here. It was amazing. I will go there on your recommendation. I'm always on the hunt for delicious food at restaurants. So, please be in touch with me. You can email me, naomi@nachumsegal.com. I love getting emails from everybody. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, Facebook, the Aussie Gourmet, and you can also join my website. On my website, you can join my newsletters by going onto the AussieGourmet.com, and at the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see the sign-up for my newsletters. I don't send out too many, so I won't drown you all with email. So had a great food adventure this week. I went to a Pisgah in Queens. It was really nice. We took my mother-in-law out, and I put on Facebook, actually, looking for a great restaurant in Queens for dinner. 20 responses, 19 of them were Pisgah. So a big shout out to you, Pisgah. You did not disappoint. One person wanted us to go to a dairy restaurant. Everybody knows I like Muscat in Queens, but I guess people thought it because it was a Sunday night. I did want fleischiks, which they were right. So we had this incredible platter of starters, all the appetizers and dips. They were incredible. So definitely Pisgah is your place to go to try fresh Israeli authentic dips. And the sushi was 50% off Sunday and Monday night, which I thought was great because my kids, I thought they would want steaks, so they wanted sushi instead, especially when it's 50% off. We let them go for it. So that was really nice. So a big shout out to you. I have a very exciting show. I like to think that every show is exciting, but to me, I'm having the most popular and frequented guest on my show. I have Shifra Klein from Joy of Kosher magazine is in the house right now. I'm very excited. She's sitting right next to me. And in the second half, we're going to have Strom from Kansas City, Kansas, which is really great. They are an hour behind us, so it's going to be a little bit earlier for her in the day on this Erev Shabbos. So I'm going to get her on the phone. We're going to talk about being kosher on a budget, which seems like such an impossible task. So we will be talking to her and getting great Purim, Pesach, and just regular Shabbat ideas for us as well. So, Shifra, welcome. Welcome
Thanks
back.
for having me. It's great to be here.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, this is like our fifth time together at least, right? Every time
totally.
Every time a Joy of Kosher magazine comes out, we got to have you in the studio. So
thanks for having me.
Thank you. Okay, I'm just, for those of you who are listening to us for the first time and don't know, or some of our other guests who are listeners, audiences who have not been made aware of this, we actually are videotaping our show as well as broadcasting through the airwaves. We've got a camera on, so you can actually go and you can hear our show always on the archives and through iTunes podcast, but now you can actually go to Nachum Segal Net, put it in as one word in the YouTube search bar, and then all the shows will come up.
That's a really amazing, exciting addition to the show.
It's great.
It really is.
So last week we had Sarah Klinkwitz, and she brought in her chocolates, and we were like eating chocolates into the camera. It was a lot of fun.
Okay, so next time I come, I'll bring food.
Okay.
We can make everyone hungry.
Okay, that's
But
good.
in the meantime, we can make everyone hungry with the pictures from the magazine.
So we're gonna I'm just, as I'm gonna hold up the Joy of Kosher to the people that are can watch this, but we're going to be talking about the amazing, gorgeous magazine, and I said to you when you came in, I said, you must think I think everything is gorgeous because, I said this is yet another fabulous production of this Joy of Kosher. I love it. And Shlomi sent me an email saying the next one's coming out. And I said, okay, great, looking forward to it, and we were looking to book a date to have you in. So the next day one arrives in the mail. So
yeah, that's right. And now we're going to do a giveaway for all your listeners.
Thank you.
Yeah, in honor of Purim and Pesach, our upcoming Pesach issue, which is almost done, actually.
I'm very excited to see the Pesach issue. Okay, great.
Well, so I guess you're going to let your listeners know how to...
Okay, so if you want to win, thank you, Shifra.
A 1-year subscription.
A year subscription to Joy of Kosher, if you want it, which you do. You know how many emails I get from people? when we do a giveaway, it's amazing how many people want to be part of our show and part of
it's always fun to win something, and this comes right when you need it.
Right, exactly.
It's coming in your mailbox 3 weeks before Pesach, which is perfect.
I know, and that's so soon.
It's crazy how soon it is.
I know. And, the minute winter break was over, the countdown has, for me has begun. People count down between Pesach and Shavuos, but not me. I count down between winter break and Lich Ben Shimon Pesach. But if you want to win the gorgeous set of year subscription, it's about 5 magazines a year.
It's 6 magazines a year.
6 magazines a year. You know what to do, folks. Naomi at NachumSegal.com. Give me your name and your address, and I'm going to also your email address, and I'm also going to add you to my weekly newsletters that I put on my through my website. So as I promised, I won't inundate you. But so Naomi at NachumSegal.com to win Joy of Kosher. So, looking forward to hearing from you all. Okay, so let's start beginning at page number 1. Okay, this looks amazing. You want to eat you want to eat the front cover.
Okay, good. That's what we're going for.
Okay, great. Yeah. All right, so this is your Purim edition, but it's not only has Purim, it's got a large selection of...
Yeah, it's also late winter, and any recipe that we did for Purim, you could do any time of the year. It's not solely made for Purim. Like this salad idea was to do stuffed sides.
Yeah, I thought that was really clever. Yeah. That was yours. You have a few different writers.
Right. We have many different writers, and that's the appeal of the magazine. It's, having a voice from so many different people and so many different kosher bloggers, kosher chefs. So it's really exciting, even for me, when I'm getting the content and we're planning it, it's always so amazing to see how many talented people there are in the kosher market and how many amazing contributors we have. So that's really amazing. And it's always so exciting. So we did this idea of stuffed sides, stuffed mains, everything. The idea was for Purim, sort of to have a theme going.
I like that stuff because Hamantashen is stuffed.
Yeah, exactly.
I love.
And we also wrote the more spiritual reason of eating stuffed food, so you could get sort of that explanation going, and that's written inside. So that was the salad. It's a portobello mushroom that's sort of stuffed with sweet potatoes, and it's the dressing is amazing. I really think it's worth getting the magazine, even just for this recipe.
Okay, it's great. Now you can also actually download it digitally, right?
Yeah, it's available on iTunes, so whoever has an iPad can download it on iTunes.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right, so let's delve inside to the magazine. Okay. So I like straight from the beginning. I have my notes here, but I also want to flip to it. I like how you have kitchen trends. What's new?
Right.
What's new in the kitchen? Because there are people that, doing kitchens and they want to know what's available and what else is out there. So it's not only food, you've got everything revolving around how to make the food in your gorgeous kitchen.
Exactly. It's just there's a lot of things beyond just recipes in the magazine. And you'll see, we introduced a lot of new columns into this issue.
Okay.
So that was, so one of the things that we're doing from now on is kitchen trends. And it's so interesting to see because we have I think today, 2 extreme almost kitchen trends. There's the very vintage, rustic look.
Yep.
People are going for the wooden beams and everything just to look really vintage and rustic, like I said. And then there's the very sleek and modern look. So it's very interesting. And it's I think that kitchens in general, it's even any kitchen, so reflection of the cook and, the style of the person.
I did my kitchen 9 years ago.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I want to do it again. I always tell Sandy from AHC that I want my fridge to break because I want one of the French door fridges came out literally 3 months after I got my new fridge.
Right.
And it's pushing 9 or 10 years old. So I'm waiting for it to break. But no such luck. It's going strong. Yay!
Yeah.
Thank God, Baruch Hashem. I'm not looking to throw out money. But yeah, so it's really nice to see, if you are doing a new kitchen, something
Right,
new.
exactly.
I really like the floating shelves.
Right. That's something that's very in now.
Yeah.
Is like the open shelf look. It opens up your kitchen. So
Right. Yeah,
it's for very organized people, though, because everything has to look.
My husband would never let me get it. He likes everything behind closed doors.
Yeah. So floating shelves, the idea is just to have it's open shelf. And like also now there's like open kitchen. Everything's just like open, and like it's also a really great way to, like, if you have any interesting kitchen items, cookbooks, even picture frames, it personalizes the kitchen
Right.
when you walk in. So that's a very cool trend.
I like to have like the shelf above my flagship sink. I have this mini shelf under a cabinet, and I just have photos of my family there.
It's really nice.
Yeah, I like that. And I'm at the flagship sink a lot, either cleaning and cooking, or
So it's really nice to have
So
your family
I
there.
feel like
Yeah.
my family's there with me. So
For sure.
reflects into the food.
Yeah.
Okay, and then so we're talking about new columns. Love the one about 5 myths about that cost money.
Yeah, it was really interesting.
Okay, so yeah, just like fresh is always better, and
Fresh isn't always better.
fresh isn't always
like you
better.
think. So
Even though I always say fresh is the best.
no, fresh is generally the best.
Yeah.
Go for fresh. But the idea was that sometimes if you're doing, let's say, a blueberry cake, frozen blueberries could be just as good. And in fact, a lot of food is flash frozen, and it's frozen when it's fresh.
Right,
So it has a very good flavor.
So talk about the fish, because I'm not going to read from the magazine, because Shifra will explain it, and
This is actually something that's so interesting is when it comes to especially sushi grade fish.
Right.
Is that sometimes it's better to get the frozen one because it's flash frozen right when it's caught. They quickly freeze it. They have a certain method that really seals in the freshness. So you're literally defrosting it, a piece of fish that was frozen right away. It's the ideal freshness versus a fish that you get sometimes in the fish market. It could be sitting there for 2 or 3 days. It might have also been defrosted, 4 days ago. So sometimes it really is better.
That's really interesting. I never thought about that, because I always like to think of, my fish fresh. And
Right.
it's better that way, especially with sushi. And we love raw fish in our
100%.
house. Raw tuna, raw salmon is like, my kids hate when I cook the tuna. We want it raw. But what's interesting, like, I cook for people for Pesach, and they go, how can you cook for so many people right before Pesach? I go, no, I start after Purim, and then I freeze it, but I'm freezing it fresh. It's not sitting in the fridge. I cool it to the proper temperature, room temperature.
Right.
Then I wrap it tightly, and then I put it in the freezer
That's
that
right.
same day. I'm not freezing. People think of freezing food. You're freezing your leftovers, which has probably been reheated twice.
Right.
You've totally changed the texture, the temperature, the taste, everything. And then you're freezing it, and
For
then
sure.
you're defrosting it. So, ugh.
Yeah, I mean, we actually, talking about our next column, we have Levana Kirschenbaum.
Right, that's what I wanted to bring in.
Because you're talking about freezing.
Right.
The topic was freezing. And she's has so many years experience.
Yeah, she's amazing.
I was so happy that she went for this column. She's going to do it every issue.
Great.
And it's people can email their questions to the magazine, and she basically answers. It's more like whole food centered and health centered, because that's her expertise.
She's great.
So she wrote all about freezing. Yeah. So I mean, there is that myth.
That was my segue into this.
Okay. So I did the segue.
No, right. You did the segue. That was
Yeah.
great, because I'm a big fan of, making a huge vat of soup.
Right.
Like,
I mean, and there are
16
certain
quart
things that taste better.
soup, chicken soup.
Roasts like in good sauce. When
Yeah.
you defrost it, it gets even juicier.
Yeah.
So
yum, yum.
yeah.
Next time you really have to bring food.
I really do.
I should.
We'll get a little too distracted. But
Okay.
No, it's gonna be good.
Okay, so I like the whole new section of Levana.
Right.
I know that I noticed that our we've had Gil Marks, our guest
Yes.
also. He was in last month, and now this month
So
again.
he's also doing that column. It's 5 things you didn't know about. That's what he's doing.
Right. So I think that's excellent, because I love food trivia. I want to know where my food came from, where the history of the food came from.
And Gil Marks is like the person to do it.
He wrote an encyclopedia of food. So it's
Encyclopedia
like
of Jewish
this
food. He
thick.
is,
It's like
yeah.
a half a foot thick.
Yeah. And he writes, I mean, it's really fascinating. 5 things you didn't know about Hamantasha, and 5 things, like, he'll do it on the topic that's going on or what's going on in the season. So it's actually really fascinating.
Now, speaking about Hamantashen, and you were talking before about
The different
I don't know how to say it in American accent. Contributors.
Well, this was really
contributors because I think I sound that so Australian. I think that was brilliant. So you have Gil's information, 5 things you didn't know about hamantaschen. From where it came, the meaning, the symbolism, the role of the filling that plays in. I love that kind of stuff.
I was I read it to my kids. It's so interesting.
Right. That's actually a good Sudat Purim. Or Erev Purim, the Shabbos before Purim, once Rosh Chodesh Adar Bet rolls around. That's something, you can have one of the kids or, there's 5 different points here so you can have each kid read it around the table. But what I thought this was so clever. I know most of these people, so it's so exciting. I'm so not the baker.
Well, some of these hamantaschen, I love this because it's an ode to like all the kosher bloggers out there. And there's also even if you're not the biggest baker, there's 2 hamantaschen recipes that use puff pastry, which I thought was so brilliant.
Yeah, I've done that.
So easy. And the pumpkin pie one, the chocolate banana coconut, the savory hamantaschen that uses pastry dough. So you don't have to be the baker. There's a variety. We also have a gluten-free hamantaschen.
Oh, that's very clever. Wait, who wrote that?
Lisa Rose.
Okay, where?
Fig and Thyme.
Okay.
Real Food Kosher.
Okay, Real Food
Kosher. That's a gluten-free hamantaschen.
So it's just a bunch of amazing bloggers and cookbook authors because Noreen Galetz is, she was one of the first cookbook authors out there.
And I love her hamantaschen recipe, so unique.
Apricot, almond, triangle.
It doesn't have the
folds.
But it's
like a triangle.
Yeah, but we couldn't stop. It was so much fun because we were like noshing on this as we're doing the photo shoot. And we had like a pile of hamantaschen. If you look in the beginning of... Where's Gil Marx's article?
Right behind you.
So we had this like literally a bowl of all the hamantaschen. So it was so much fun to taste.
And who got to make all these?
Actually Chaya Friedman, the food stylist, made it. When it comes to making things that have to look good, I don't make it.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm saying like I could cook and it tastes good, but like to make things look picture perfect,
which is what you need.
That's what we need Chaya Friedman for.
Okay.
Yeah.
They look unbelievable.
Yeah.
I want to come to this photo. I should have.
You're
come
more
to
than
this
invited.
Photo. I know. We have to coordinate.
It's very interesting.
Okay. So now let's go back a little bit earlier on in the book. Vegan. We're kind of leaving Purim aside there. Sorry, Mr. Purim. But you've had your turn. We're going to talk about vegan because I think it's such a big buzzword now out in the food world. A lot of people will call me to cook for them. Please cook Shabbos for me, but one of my kids is a vegetarian or one of my kids is a vegan. So, I had to learn what vegan meant because I thought, vegan was just it is I don't want to say extreme because it sounds like I'm offending someone.
Right.
But it's not. It's just more than a regular vegetarian.
Yeah, much more, yeah.
Right. So it's no eggs, no...
Nothing that comes from an animal source. Nothing. Even honey.
Honey is considered vegan?
Mm-hmm. Honey is not vegan.
Honey is not vegan.
Because it comes from bees.
I know when I was cooking for someone, I had to make them, I can't remember, a kugel or something. No eggs, but I could use vegan mayonnaise.
Right. So that's egg-free. And there's also egg replacers.
Okay.
If you're vegan, there's now, especially, there is so many food available. So it was just interesting. So we did this whole article about what vegan food is. Is all vegan food kosher? Because it doesn't come from an animal source.
But then
are all vegan restaurants kosher?
But you have to check the veggies, right?
Yeah. We covered that. That was also interesting. We also spoke about the different levels. Like there are people that are almost vegan, vegetarian, flexitarian. There's so many different.
Flexitarian.
Yeah, it's a little bit more flexible. So
what does that mean? Like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you eat eggs, and the Tuesday.
Everyone, does their own thing. But we had Elise Glickman. She's a writer that's based in Los Angeles, and she interviewed a lot of, especially in California, it's a very big movement. And so she interviewed a lot of chefs that have vegan restaurants. They're not all, necessarily keeping kosher. They're not necessarily kosher restaurants, but they're real experts in vegan food and vegan cooking. So we had them contribute all the vegan recipes. So all the recipes are coming from vegan restaurants.
Did you cook them up?
Everything. Everything in the magazine we cook, we take pictures ourselves, and we all taste it.
And it was good?
It was all good, yeah. Very fresh. Like, I love the cauliflower tabbouleh. It was amazing.
Yeah, I'm a big tabbouleh person.
Salad, yeah.
I'm a big tabbouleh person. I make it every week. I used to make it with
instead of using the
bulgur.
grain, we use raw cauliflower. it was such a brilliant, ingredient to use.
And is it raw?
It's raw coffee, so it has that crunch, and it marinates in the dressing, and it's something that you can leave in your fridge and eat it, during the week, like real tabbouleh.
Right.
So that was really fascinating. And then to go along with it, we also interviewed Mayim Bialik.
Okay, Mayim Bialik, for people who are not familiar with Mayim Bialik. I actually got to hear her speak one time. I was in Boca Raton, and she was basically the scholar in residence at the Boca Raton synagogue. She spoke to the women and what it's like to be modern Orthodox. And she actually came to my kids' high school in SKA.
Oh, wow.
Last year to speak about modesty.
Right.
Which was really interesting.
She's very inspirational.
Because, she's in Hollywood, but she's very, her personality is sneers because she's quiet. She's not loud.
Exactly.
She has her blogs and, she shares with everybody, all her movements in her life, because I think that's what you have to do when you're in Hollywood.
Right.
But it's always done in a very simple, modest way.
And that's her So her new cookbook is really a reflection of her personality.
I'd love to get her in here.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll get her to come in, or we'll get her on the phone together.
Yeah. So that was really interesting. It was interesting to talk to her. I mean, she said that her son thought that all vegan people keep kosher. Like vegan and kosher are the same thing.
Right. I had
so that was really, it was really cute. And so that was a great addition to the vegan article. And
could you see yourself become a vegan?
What?
Could you see yourself become a vegan?
No.
I could not. I don't leave out food groups. I can't even go. I tried the paleo diet.
Okay.
Our friend Melinda Strauss, kitchen-tester.com, she was on this paleo diet, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to try that too. 3 days.
Okay.
3 days. You know why? I need milk in my coffee. Almond milk. Almond milk does not cut it.
Almond
milk.
I guess it's like
great for
it's
Pesach,
also
great in power recipes.
Right.
Not good for your morning coffee.
So some people are vegan for, dietary or allergic, like people are allergic, so then they take upon that diet. But yeah, they're passionate about, not eating meat or anything that comes from animals. And so that's the inspiration for a lot of people.
Okay.
And a lot of people who are kosher are vegan nowadays. So, and even not, it's just interesting to sort of cook that style. Most of the recipes are so healthy and so good for you. So
it wouldn't be so bad if we actually did even like 2 days a week, like maybe selective.
Sure.
I'm just thinking now, like selective veganism, like
totally
2 days a week.
That's a flexitarian.
Flexitarian, I love it. Just cleanse the body, it's not such a bad thing to do.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially maybe like right after Pesach.
Yeah, that's a good time. Or Pesach.
You know what? It's probably all fruits and vegetables, a lot of the stuff.
Right, yeah.
Chalamoid, it wouldn't be so bad to
take a day off.
Flash out the system on. There's actually not even so many chalamoid days.
Right. I don't know. I didn't check.
It's Thursday. Unfortunately, I know this so well. It's actually exactly like last year. It starts on a Monday night.
Okay.
And Monday night is first night Seder, and then chalamoid is Thursday,
right,
and then Fridays again, like Erev Shabbos, and then Sunday again is Erev Yontif again. So you don't get like that huge stretch of,
a lot of relaxing time.
Okay, it's all good.
Yeah. So another popular thing that we had was we did a thing on Greek yogurt.
Okay, can I just say one thing about?
Yes.
I really want to love yogurt. I've never eaten yogurt.
Why?
I can't smell it even. It makes
You're serious?
I know, and I
Greek
love
yogurt
milk.
Is more mild.
I love milk.
You haven't eaten Greek yogurt?
I know. Isn't that insane?
Wow.
I've never eaten yogurt ever. I've eaten Lebanon.
Okay.
In Israel, I happen to really like Lebanon, but I can't do the yogurt thing.
That's so interesting.
I know. I can't.
It's so funny what everyone's like
away from my nose.
It's interesting, like what everyone's like food,
Even me, look, I love food so much.
Right.
I think about
and yogurt, it's like.
I know, right? I want to love it. I think it's good for your diet. My friends just have a cup of coffee and a yogurt in the morning. They feel fuller longer than me, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's okay.
So talk to me about Greek yogurt because it is so popular. And why? Tell me, because I'm not a yogurt person, what's the difference between Greek yogurt and regular yogurt?
So Greek yogurt is creamier. And it has a much higher protein content. So you're getting so much protein when you're eating it. So it's a very healthy alternative to a lot of other things. And it's also a very versatile ingredient. So it was very funny because we did an advertorial for Norman's Greek yogurt, which is sort of like we did some recipes for them, but it was like they're advertising their product in our magazine. And it was so interesting how that became so popular, because Greek yogurt is not just a breakfast food, like you were saying. There's so many things you could do with it. You can use Greek yogurt and substitute it for cream.
Right. So
and it really is good.
I've seen a lot of recipes for calling for Greek yogurt. See, I would eat it in something.
Like a Greek yogurt pesto. So we did that in the pasta.
Right, I saw that.
That was pretty cool. And
it's kind of like sour cream. You're changing out sour cream
exactly
for the yogurt. Oh,
and it's one of those things that, like, a lot of times things that are, advertised as healthy are, they're good, but they're not as good. But Greek yogurt has something like unique. There's something like tangy and so flavorful about it. So like it really works. And it almost makes things taste a little more exciting.
I have a friend who was, I went out for lunch with her last week, and she was saying how much she likes to go to like Stop and Shops, like regular supermarkets, not our kosher, typical kosher in the neighbor. Well, like when she's out of town, she'll go to the local Stop and Shop in Vermont or Connecticut. She walks up and down every aisle to find interesting OU products, because you can find stuff that we just cannot. That we don't get in the 5 towns, but has a or in Brooklyn,
It's so interesting.
It's so like I found in middle of Vermont, OU artichoke bottoms in a can. I bought 10 of them because I never see them. My husband's
That's
like,
ironic. That's so funny.
Why are we bringing home 10 cans from Vermont? Can't you get this in Cedarhurst at Gourmet Glad? I'm like, not yet. We can get the yummy marinated artichokes, but not from the can. So, I'll be calling you, Howie, to see if we can get those. Howie Klagsbrand is the guy that will find you anything in Gourmet Glad. If you want it, an item, you can bring it to him and he'll hunt it down and bring it into the store. So,
yeah, it's a really nice store.
Yeah, it's great. And they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So
yeah.
Okay, so now I know we're talking a little bit about yogurt. So we finished on the yogurt, right?
We could go on and on.
You could go on and on. So right.
We could talk about it for a long time. I'll probably put everyone to sleep.
So my friend was telling me we got off topic, but she was out of town and she went to the supermarket and she was finding all these really cool Greek yogurts with OUs.
Wow.
So she was buying them and bringing them back to the hotel and having a yogurt party. Like that's hilarious.
Yeah, I like that, a yogurt party.
Yeah. Okay. I know we're talking about like mixing yogurt into recipes, but what happens if you've got a great recipe that calls for a fleishik recipe from a cookbook or a blog that you found online or something, and they want you to put yogurt in it, right? But because we're kosher, we don't put yogurt in our food, so we turn to tofuti.
Yeah, that's right.
I've been using a lot of that tofuti to make some of my chicken enchiladas.
That was a good segue,
creamy.
by the way.
Yeah. Thanks. Yay for the segues. Okay. So I want to make my chicken enchiladas nice and creamy.
Yeah, exactly. And that's such a great product. So that's another advertorial that we had. It's so interesting how they became part of the content of the magazine. Our readers really liked it. So Mr. Mintz, the founder of the CEO of Tofuti, contributed his own recipes.
Oh, that's
These
cool.
are things that he makes every Shabbos, and we love them as like winter comfort foods. So we had a stuffed sweet potato, which was amazing. We tasted everything as well, and it was really, really good.
So everything is parv. So you have the tofuti fettuccine Alfredo. Yeah. It's parv and it's fettuccine
Shabbos
Alfredo.
lunch.
That is insane.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is insane. Shabbos lunch of fettuccine Alfredo as an appetizer. You can put that out. Can you heat it up?
What?
You can warm this up on the blech, right? The fettuccine Alfredo. And serve it as an appetizer. Your guests will have a heart attack. They'll think they're eating milk.
This was really elegant, and it was so good.
Which one was it?
The twice baked sweet potato. The salmon salad is also great. The parv sour cream made it taste so good.
Well, I like that. I sometimes I'll take parv sour cream. The parv sour cream. I'll add a little bit of, say, fresh lemon juice, a little bit of sugar. And it just it sweetens. It's like sweet and sour, which is what you want out of sour cream. And then I'll put it in whatever, I made this, and sumac. You know what sumac is?
Yeah, it's a really interesting spice.
It's tangy, makes the food, so I added that into my parva sour cream, and then I used it like for, I made like mini hamburgers.
Oh, cool.
Tzitzot, I think they call
it
now in Israel. So I made like mini meatballs, mini meat patties, and then we had this parva sour cream dipping sauce.
It's really great, yeah. It's incredible. I mean, it's really, really amazing. I I mean, I remember growing up, and all the products. Tafudi was around when I was growing up, but
it's been around.
Yeah, it's really amazing.
She's young.
What?
You're young.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't remember it.
Oh, you don't. I mean, but it's really amazing in general, just to see the growth of the kosher market, to see what's available. It's crazy. I can't get over it.
There's nothing that we almost can't do anymore. Now we have kosher
I
bacon.
know, 100%. What can't we do?
What can't we do?
100%. It's very, that's what the magazine is all about.
Yeah, we can eat it all. We can eat it all.
Totally.
Awesome. This is like my journey in life, is thinking about what I can eat, where I can eat it.
Right. Now we just need kosher like in every airport and every amusement park.
Okay. So there is, in JetBlue, you can get kosher food. But we went there on a Sunday morning when we went to Florida for winter break, and all the food was from Friday.
Oh.
The kosher food.
Okay.
So,
So you passed.
Yeah, so I said, nah, I don't think so. But I believe in Fort Lauderdale they have kosher food at the airport.
Okay.
I think Donnie Klein from That's Kosher
Right, we wrote about it.
Yeah,
we wrote about it too.
So it's nice to know that,
Yeah.
there is somewhere.
It's
Maybe in
really-
Los Angeles. In Israel, the whole
Israel,
food court.
yeah.
Oh, man.
In Israel, you have to come to the airport early so you could eat there.
Right, I know. That's like 6 hours before the flight takes
It's
off.
like an experience.
Yeah.
And what a really cool thing that we did in the magazine, we had a series of pots and pans, and we went through different pots and pans. So we did a crock pot this issue, and Alessandra Ravati of Dinner in Venice contributed. And one of the most fascinating things we had was a crock pot cake.
Okay. I must have missed that.
It was amazing.
Was it
like,
good?
it was also just so revolutionary, like to stick a cake in a crock pot. You had to put it in the cake pan, but it really made it
put it in a
moist.
cake
It
pan
slow
and
baked
then-
the cake.
And steamed it almost, I would
Totally.
imagine.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
It was that's really worth checking out too. I'll show you the picture.
Okay, we're gonna hold up to the picture. But if you have not gotten Joy of Kosher and you want Joy of Kosher for free for a year from Shlomi and Shifra Klein, thank you so much for doing that for our listeners.
It's my pleasure.
Email me, Naomi@NachumSegal.com, your name and your address, so they can send it when you win it, God willing.
Yeah. So this was the cake.
Okay, she's
So
holding.
we wrote moist, light, and fluffy.
I
'cause that's what it
totally
was.
missed that. Okay, I'm going to hold it up to the screen for the people who cannot see it. Yeah, let's. And then it's page 42, but that looks amazing. And I loved, just to wrap up, I
Yes.
love that whole crock pot series. That
Yeah.
was, the whole pots and
And
pan
pressure
series.
cooker also,
And it was
yeah.
there was a 3-part series starting back from the summertime, I
Yeah.
believe. And it was really fabulous. So that
Thank
really,
you.
people
Yeah,
ask
because it's
me,
not just about recipes. We're also educating people about so many different things.
right, people ask me all the time what pots to use, what
Yeah.
pan, so I think it's nice to get a variety because I've never heard of some of this stuff, especially baking a cake in a crock pot. So
Yes.
amazing. Shifra, thank you so much
Thanks
for
so
coming
much
in
for having me.
on a Friday. I don't know if you can stick around. We're
Okay.
gonna have Mara Strom on the phone. Oh, okay, we have our engineers getting him on the phone.
So just in the meantime, I wanted to say we have a special going on.
Okay.
So you can, if you subscribe for 2 years or 2 subscriptions, you get Jamie's new cookbook complimentary for free. So that's a really cool deal.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you,
So
Jamie.
it's a 2-year
too.
subscription and Jamie's cookbook all in one. It's on our website.
Oh my gosh.
At joyofkosher.com.
Okay, I was going to say let's give
Yeah, it's
that
a really nice deal. And also a lot of people love giving it as a gift. So it's a great gift
so
option.
So basically you just get 2. You can get 2 and you get a
Yes.
Jamie's cookbook.
Exactly.
Fantastic. Joyofkosher.com. Shifra Klein is in
Thank
the house.
you.
Thank you so much. You are listening to Table for Two with Naomi Nachman on the Nachum Segal Network. Our show is sponsored by Abels and Hyman Meats. We taste better. Okay, so we have our second guest on the phone. She's so interesting. I met her not that long ago at the Kosher Food Bloggers Conference. Mara was a guest speaker. And as soon as she finished and the day was over, I made a beeline for her. And I said, Mara, I must have you in. So it's the first time we've been able to coordinate her on the show. She is in Kansas City, Kansas. Hello, Mara.
Hello, how are you?
Good, great. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure. We are so thrilled to have you on the show. I also have Shifra Klein is sitting here with me now. She's the editor-in-chief of Joy of Kosher magazine.
Hi, Shifra. It's nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you too.
You
Over the
guys
phone.
have got to chat.
Yeah, we really do.
Yeah, I think I've made a good shidduch over here. Okay. Oh, it's Jay. Okay. Great. So we're just having a little quick technical issue over here. Okay, so we are just getting started. So Mara lives in Kansas City. She has a food blog called Kosher on a Budget. That is something that I personally need desperately, and many of us do as well. She's also very big in the kosher social media world. As I said, she lives in Kansas City, and we are all familiar with Kansas City because we've had Mendel Segal and Yosef Silva from your local hometown. They've also been guests on our show, so hopefully some of our listeners have heard that and are familiar with the area, and that there's a beautiful Jewish community over there.
Yes, definitely. And who would have thought that Overland Park, Kansas would be such a mecca of Jewish social media, but here it is.
I know, it's crazy. And kosher food, I know that you don't have a lot of kosher restaurants, but so much good kosher stuff is coming out of Kansas City.
Definitely.
Okay, so how did you get into this?
Well, I'll tell you, there's sort of like a long personal story, which I share on the blog, which is the finance part of this, how my husband and I decided about 6 years ago to the date, actually, in January, so a little over 6 years ago, that we were going to get out of debt. We had about $30,000 of consumer debt. So we got out of debt, and then we saved up an emergency fund, and it sort of became our life. Like, we completely changed our lives, basically, and everything about our lives in order to do this. And one of the things that I did in order to keep us on budget and on track was to really, really cut our grocery bills. And so we were spending about $500 a month for then was a family of 4. Today we're a family of 5. We were spending about $500 a month. We got it down from about $1,500 a month to about $500 a month. And I always had these friends who would say to me, Mara, how do you get your stuff for so inexpensive?
Please share with us.
How do you do this? So I started to share with them some of the stories, and everyone kept saying, you should have a blog. And I thought, well, there's a million blogs. What do they need another blogger for? But the reality was there was no one who was doing this kind of teaching for the Jewish community, for the kosher keeping community. And so I decided to start it. I sort of waded in gently, and it really took off and had a life of its own very, very quickly. And thank God it's become a parnassa for my family. And it's also truly, as I say, my 4th child. It is such a love of my life doing this blog.
Oh, it's great. It's unbelievable. How do you find these killer deals?
Well, so
without giving away too many secrets, I know you probably got a few.
The longer you've been doing this, the more that stores kind of know you're out there, and they'll send stuff to you. So I actually get emailed a lot of these things directly from the stores, which is wonderful. And then I spend a good, couple hours a day just trolling online sites. And I happen to be a huge fan of online shopping.
Yeah, I like it too.
I really like going to the stores. Too much driving and the kids and the car seats. I just prefer to shop online. And I actually think that oftentimes we get better deals by shopping online. Plus, we don't have to pay for gas to the store, since so many of these stores will ship for free. So I'm a huge fan of it. So I spend a couple hours a day looking for these deals that I bring to my readers on kosheronabudget.com.
Unbelievable. We live in different areas. So you're in is it the middle of the country? Can I use
There you go. You're good.
Okay, good.
I'm forgiving you because you're Australian, not because you're, from the East Coast.
From the East Coast, that's right. So you and then I'm from New York. So there's definitely a different I don't know how to say it, money requirement, like demands on your salary. I don't know what tuition is like in Kansas City, but in Long Island or New Jersey, in Jewish day schools and yeshivas, it's very expensive. It's like it's a mortgage every month, and
even more than that for some people.
Yeah, I have to say it's more than my mortgage. It's crazy. We work very hard to do that, and then you want to have nice food for Shabbos. You want to have company for Shabbos, but by the time you're done with a meat and a chicken and a kugel and some salads and the salmon and the chicken, it's like, I tell my husband, Shabbos is easily $200. And there's four Shabbos in an average month. So you're talking $800 a month for Shabbos. That's a lot of maybe $1,000. And I feel like I spend so much money at Costco because I feel like I'm good. I go with a list. I buy exactly what I need. I don't go up and down every aisle. And I find it so hard to just stay focused and stay on a budget and do all that.
Right. Well, there is no doubt that the Jewish lifestyle, the frum lifestyle, does have some added expenses that, many people out there in mainstream America aren't experiencing. And even just keeping kosher, when I have friends who aren't Jewish who tell me about their great deal on boneless, skinless chicken breast for $1.99 a pound,
you want to cry.
Yeah. But the reality is that even though we can't necessarily, Shabbos comes every week. That's just something that happens.
Yep.
And the cost of kosher food, and I'm talking specifically about meat and dairy products, and particularly those who keep chalav Yisrael. But even if you eat chalav stam, it's still not inexpensive, and it's certainly more expensive than the non-kosher cheese. So those costs are what they are. I consider them sunk costs. Now, there are things that you can do about those costs, though, in order to make your life more manageable. So what I tell people is, before you even start clipping coupons or shopping deals or any of that, there's 3 things that everybody has to do if they want to lower their grocery budget. And if you do these 3 things, you'll lower your grocery budget by somewhere from 25 to 50%.
Okay, so
if you're spending $1,000 a month, you're going to save $250 to $500 a month just by doing these 3 3 things.
Let everyone grab pen and paper. Okay, ladies?
That's what I'm giving you, a free class right now. Kosher budget class right here.
Okay,
so number 1 is you have to keep a budget and you have to track your spending.
I'm actually writing too.
You're so sweet.
I promise you. What did you say? Repeat that.
Number 1 is to track your spending and make a budget.
Track your
spending. Here's the deal. Most people don't know how much they're actually spending at the grocery store.
No.
You'll say, I think I'm spending about $800 a month, or I think I'm spending about $1,500 a month. But when you actually dig in and you look at all of your credit card receipts and you figure out all the times that you spent cash because it was just a quick trip and you just used the money that you had in your wallet, or that time you forgot that your husband stopped and picked up stuff on his way home, all of those times add up. And I'd say 95% of the time that people do this, they find out that they're spending several $100s a month more than they thought they would have estimated.
Okay.
So the very first thing you need to do is track your spending.
Okay.
As soon
I'm
as
writing
you're
this
paying
down,
attention
guys.
to something, you're going to be better at doing that thing.
Okay.
Then you're going to make a budget based on that number. And your budget is how you're going to take that number of what you're currently spending and you're going to do better with it. Now, if you have trouble sticking to a budget, one really simple strategy to use is to take out cash instead of using a credit card.
Oh, no, really?
So if your budget is $1,000 for food in a month, okay, the first Sunday of the month, take out $250. And then the next Sunday, take out another $250 and put it in an envelope and carry it around in your purse.
Does that include Shabbos food? Does that include Shabbos food?
That includes whatever your budget is. That includes everything.
Ugh.
Anytime you walk into a grocery store, walk in only with that envelope. Do not bring in a credit card. Because as soon as we start swiping a credit card, we get removed from our money.
That's how my mother used to shop.
Removed.
When I was growing up in Australia in the 70s and the 80s, my mother didn't have a million credit cards in her wallet.
It's true.
I remember with my grandmother at Franklin's in Rose Bay in Sydney, Australia. And they had filled up their carts, their shopping wagons, and they didn't have enough cash between the two of them. They start putting unnecessary things back. And that's how they used to shop. And that's why maybe my mother's generation aren't drowning in debt, say, like our current generation.
That's right. That's absolutely right. So if you don't trust yourself to be disciplined with the credit card, and there's no judgment, there's no shame in that. I think most of us have a hard time being disciplined with the credit card. That's what the credit card companies want. They want us to be undisciplined. So if that's hard for you, use cash. Cash will discipline you. And just don't bring your credit cards in with you. So that's number 1. The second thing you have to do is learn how sales cycles work at the grocery store.
Sale. So I'm writing it down.
Cycles.
I'm telling you, I'm writing it down. I hope my listeners are writing it down too. It's great.
This is a little known secret that most people out there just aren't aware of.
Okay.
Once every 12 weeks, approximately, stores will put almost all of their merchandise on what I call the rock bottom price. Now, everything's not going to happen the same week. One week it'll be cereal, the next week it'll be pasta, the next week it'll be ground beef. Every item it's going to have its own sales cycle, but it's going to hit its rock bottom price about once every 12 weeks. Which means, let's take a box of cereal. Okay, let's say your standard shelf price for a box of Cheerios is $4.99 out by you, because I know it's a little bit more expensive in Long Island than it is in Kansas City.
Okay.
Let's say it's $4.99 for a box of Cheerios. If you buy that box of cereal when it's full price, you're paying $5. Now, that box of cereal is going to go on sale a lot in a quarter, right? It's going to go on sale for $4.49. It's going to go on sale for $3.99. But once every 12 weeks, it's going to go on sale for somewhere between $1.99 and $2.49.
You are so right. I'm totally following you. Yes.
So if you get that box of cereal when it's $2.49 and you get 2 boxes of cereal, you are paying for 2 boxes what you would normally pay for 1 box. Just by doing that, you've cut 50% off of your budget. Just by doing that.
Huh.
So as a shopper, your goal is to pay attention to sales cycles and buy when the product is at its rock bottom price. And not just buy one of them. Buy enough to last your family until the next time.
Right.
So for 12 weeks. So when you need cereal, you don't go to the grocery store. You go to your food stockpile and you buy it when it was 50% off.
I do that with cereal. I cannot pay full price $5 for a box of cereal. It kills me. In the local kosher supermarket, so I always go to Target because it's I'm getting a nod from ZK. It's $3.50 a box on sale, and they usually have a lot of sales cycles going on there.
So the great thing is if you take that knowledge that you already have about cereal and you start applying it across more items in your grocery cart. Again, at least by me, there's almost never sales on kosher meat and chicken. Almost never.
Right.
But if I can cut the rest of my grocery cart by 25, 50, 75% by using this sales cycle strategy, then I get a little bit more wiggle room in my budget to afford those kosher meats and chickens.
Right.
So that's step number 2. And step number 3 is that you have to make a menu plan.
Oh, love it. Menu plan. And we're going to use that. We've all been about segues here. Shifra and I were talking from Joy of Kosher all about different topics from her magazine, and we kept using the word segues. We segued into a lot of different topics very nicely. And let's segue this into Pesach plan.
Okay.
Because that is a killer for everyone, a menu plan, for Pesach.
So, the Pesach, if you want to save money on Pesach, the first thing you have to do is what I told you have to do the rest of the year, and that is make a budget. Okay?
Right.
You can't just go to the grocery store and allow yourself to get sort of sucked into the Pesach panic.
The
right?
Pesach panic.
You need to go in ahead of time say, I am going to spend $1,000 or $1,500 or $500 or whatever is the number that works for your family. Take it in cash and go with a plan. Do not go into the store without a plan.
Okay, I like that. With the shopping list and with your menu. When I actually go into Gourmet Club, when I do 99.9% of my shopping when I'm not, I do a lot of Costco shopping, but I always have my Shabbos menu with me and the list because sometimes I need to double check it, cross it over what I'm doing, do a crossover check. And I find that's also very easy. Take your printout of I do it on an Excel spreadsheet, my ingredients and what I'm making. Not the recipe so much.
Yeah.
And I feel like that kind of helps me.
Yeah, for sure. The other thing is, if you want to save money on Pesach, the time to start is now. Mm-hmm. First of all, the time to start is now because you may want to squirrel away a little bit of your budget from February and March so that in April you have a little bit more wiggle room. That's one thing. Yeah. But the other thing is that if you buy your meat for Pesach before Purim, it will be cheaper than if you buy it after Purim.
Big believer in that.
All the kosher butchers are going to mark up their meat starting at Purim because of the Pesach rush.
And you just
buy
have
it now
to make
and put it in your freezer.
You just double check with the butcher that it's already kosher Pesach. I believe like meats that are not marinated or corned beef and all that.
That is correct.
That
as
you
long
cannot
as it's
do.
just straight meat, it should be fine, but obviously check that ahead of time.
Check with your butcher. I know in Gourmet Glatt most of the meat is kosher all year round, except of course when the seasoning, the marinated stuff. But no, that's an excellent point that you need.
And by the way, don't buy the already seasoned marinated meat year round either, because you can do that at home and save yourself a lot per pound.
Yes. What I do is when I make a marinade, I triple a marinade recipe, and then I put it in small little containers. And then I always have on hand in my freezer a marinade that costs me probably $1 to make.
Probably even less, actually. That's so smart.
So I've always I do it for a little bit for money and a little bit for time because I'm a busy mum.
Absolutely. And, that segues us back to the idea of menu planning, which is that menu planning is going to save you a lot of time and mental anguish, that pressure of like, oh, my gosh, what am I going to make for dinner? But it also saves you so much money because when you have a menu plan, you're not going, and this applies for Pesach as well, you're not going into the store and buying stuff that you just assume you'll make at some point. Because when you assume you'll make something at some point, oftentimes you don't, and you end up throwing food away. And the biggest budget buster for most people is food waste.
Yeah.
The amount of food that we throw away is sinful, and it's a huge waste of money.
Right.
So if you're not throwing food away, you're saving money right there. So when you go in with a detailed menu plan and then you make a list based on that plan, you're shopping, and everything that's in your refrigerator has a designated purpose. Everything. And that's how you ensure that you don't have food waste.
I love it. I love it. Wow. You're amazing. You know, I cook. I've been married over 20 years. I consider myself organized, but and you know, not so frugal, which I'm learning how to be from you. And on your website, you teach us how to get freebies, right? I'm just going through some of the tabs that you've got on your
freebies are lots of fun. You know, manufacturers will send you free samples of things, and that's just like so great because you get free samples, oftentimes with high value coupons, and they just send it right to your door.
What do you mean high? You can write to the company? Like, how does that work?
So sometimes, let's say there's a free sample for like a dishwasher detergent. So you'll get a free sample for 1 or 2 washes, which, okay, that's not going to make a huge difference in your life, but in it, there's a $3 off coupon. So when that product is on sale anyway, and you're using your $3 off coupon, you might be able to get some product at the grocery store for free, and certainly for pennies on the dollar. So that's a great way to save money, too.
I love it. I love it. Okay, we are, you know, this show's always about food, but now it's about food and buying food within your budget and not going crazy for Shabbos and for Yom Tov. You know, I saw a beautiful piece of navel pastrami, which can be a little bit expensive. And I bought it on sale, bought a few on sale, and I put them in the freezer. That way, you know, they were there when I needed them.
The freezer is the frugal shopper's number one best friend. And you know what else the freezer is great for is if you cook up a few meals ahead of time, you know, when you're making something, double or triple the recipe because it's not double or triple the work because you already have the kitchen dirty, you're already doing the stuff. You know, maybe it takes 10% more time, but you get 2 or 3 more meals out of it. You take those and you stick them in the freezer, and that's good insurance against those days when you just want to order a pizza because you can't be bothered with dinner. Ordering out and takeout is also very expensive, and if you can cut your budget on those things down, you're going to save a lot of money on food as well.
Right. I never make 1 eggplant parmesan. Never. I make 2. Never make 1. It's time consuming. My kids will help me. I'd rather make 2 than 1. You know, I feel like it's, you know, as you said, 10% more in time, maybe 15% with eggplant parmesan because we like to fry it because that's the best way to eat it.
Oh, yeah, no, that's we gave up the frying a long time ago, Naomi.
What?
I said we gave up the frying a long time ago.
We don't eat so much fried food, but a little bit for eggplant parmesan is worth it. But I do make 2 at a time. And I just happen to have had a really busy week this week. I did a bunch of cooking demos in Teaneck and Borough Park for Aussie's Fish. And it was a really, really, intense week. And it was from 2 to 5. And my kids come home from school at 5:30 starving. So I needed to have dinner made ahead because I don't want to come home so tired from work and then whip up dinner. So I made a bunch of eggplant parmesans. So I made 1 for like Sunday night dinner like last week, but I had made a second one. So my kids already knew that there was eggplant parmesan waiting, that we didn't order in pizza or Chinese, which hardly anyone touches. I make a great pepper steak recipe from, it freezes amazing from Leah Shapira's Kosher and Fresh or Fresh and Kosher. I'm blanking out on the name. It's an excellent cookbook. I've spoke about it before and I've had Leah on the show last year. Trying to get her again, but she's been so busy. But she's got this amazing pepper steak recipe, and it freezes great because it's got great sauce. So, all you have to do is just defrost that, throw in some, veggies very quickly into a convection roast oven or just on 400 degrees regular, and it cooks so fast, and you've got dinner ready for you. So you don't have to think. It just takes that bit of planning, as you said. Make on Sunday night a meal plan. Get the kids involved. Get them to come with you shopping.
Absolutely. We let our kids pick one meal. I mean, I have younger kids than you do. My youngest is 4.5 and my oldest is 10. We let them pick one meal a week. And that way, we don't have to deal with the I don't like what you made for dinner every single night of the week.
I can't win sometimes, No.
Even
I have teenagers, 3 out of 4 kids liked the meal and the 4th one didn't, and it was a whole hullabaloo. But But I consider if 4 out of 5 of us are eating, then I've won. Right, exactly. It's so hard to keep track. Mara, thank you so much for joining me. And you have kosher recipes on your blog as well, menu planning
Frugal
ideas.
kosher recipes, in fact.
Frugal kosher. Oh, let's have a look. I'm going to I've actually got my iPad here with me. So I'm going to the kosher recipe index. So every recipe is basically...
Every recipe is shared there. And not all of them, but I would say about 90% of my recipes are frugal. And likewise, about 90% of my recipes are pretty simple to make. Unlike you, I don't love potchking in the kitchen. So I need a recipe that comes together really quickly for me.
Okay, listen, you've got little kids. I also was very hard to cook dinner when I had like 3 little girls running around my house. But amazing recipes that you've got here. Challah and cheese straws.
Oh, that bread machine challah recipe that I share on my blog has been tweaked, and it is so perfect. I love that.
But you have
recipe.
to have a bread machine. I don't have a bread machine. Can you make it without a bread machine?
Yes, you can definitely make it. I mean, some people have told me they've made it in their KitchenAid. Some people have made it by hand. I mean, again, coming back to the easy thing, what I love is that Friday morning I dump those ingredients in the bread machine, and it does all the work for me, and then I just take it out and braid it and cook it.
I love it. You know, and my kids help me braid because I make challah every week. You know, I just want to do the What's for Dinner segment with you, which is sponsored by Gourmet Glatt because we're about to come to a close of our show. You have a great recipe here for close to perfect peanut noodle salad. And I'm going to just read that through so our listeners can hear it and then go onto your website, kosheronabudget.com, and then go onto the recipes and then they'll find it. You take a half a cup of smooth peanut butter, a quarter of a cup of soy sauce, use the low sodium, a third of a cup of water, 2 tablespoons of chopped ginger, a medium garlic clove, some rice wine, 2 tablespoons of rice wine, 2 tablespoons of sesame oil, 2 tablespoons of honey. If you want, you can add in some flakes because not everyone likes it spicy. Some fresh cilantro. I find that not everyone likes cilantro, so you can use parsley, half a cup of that, a quarter of a cup of chopped scallions, and your box of pasta cooked up according to the directions, and 3 tablespoons of chopped peanuts. And then you put the first 8 ingredients through a blender. Am I right? And then if you don't like ginger, you can just use in a little bit of the ginger. And then you pour that over the noodles, and it looks amazing. I love this. And then you toss in all your fresh, your cilantro or your parsley, your scallions, your nuts right before you serve it. And then you've got an absolutely fabulous recipe. All these, if you're in the 5 Towns area, everything's available in Gourmet Glatt. And in most kosher supermarkets, everything's available these days. I'm sure in Kansas City, everything's there, right?
Definitely.
So thank you for sharing that recipe with us, and everyone can go to the blog. I love it. I saw that my family loves peanut noodles. And I think, I always talk about Shalosh recipes also because I find that's like the challenging meal for the day for Shabbos. So that's a really great thing. You probably do some salmon with that as well, right? Definitely. Yeah, that would be delicious. So thank you so much, Mara, for joining us today on this. Thank you for having me. Thank you. Have a great Shabbos, and we'll be in touch, and we're going to have you back on talking about Shavuos budgets. Sounds great. Thanks so much. All right. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye. You are listening to Table for Two with Naomi Nachman on the Nachum Segal Network. Our show is coming to a close. We've had an amazing show. We had Shifra Klein from Joy of Kosher, and that was Mara Strom from kosheronabudget.com. Definitely check out the websites. Thank you to the Joy of Kosher magazine for a subscription for a year for our listeners. So if you want to be in it, you've got to be in it to win it. Email me, naomi@nachumsegal.com. And I look forward to hearing from everybody, and we will have a drawing in a couple of weeks. Maybe when Shifra comes in for the Pesach issue, we'll have her draw it out. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Our show is sponsored by Abels and Hyman. We're going to have music right up until Lichbenching by our friends at Kedem. So stay tuned, stay listening, stay cooking, stay warm, stay dry. Have a good Shabbos, everybody. Take care.